There is another way of looking at the world. Another way of looking at the world. There is another way of looking at the world. Another way of looking at the world.
Lesson 33 from A Course in Miracles. There is another way of looking at the world. Today's idea is an attempt to recognize that you can shift your perception of the world in both its outer and inner aspects. A full 5 minutes should be devoted to the morning and evening applications. In these practice periods, the idea should be repeated as often as you find comfortable, though unhurried applications are essential. Alternate between surveying your outer and inner perceptions, but without an abrupt sense of shifting. Merely glance casually around the world you perceive as outside yourself. Then close your eyes and survey your inner thoughts with equal casualness. Try to remain equally uninvolved in both, and to maintain this detachment as you repeat the idea throughout the day. The shorter exercise periods should be as frequent as possible. Specific applications of today's idea should also be made immediately when any situation arises which tempts you to become disturbed. For these applications say, there is another way of looking at this. Remember to apply today's idea the instant you are aware of distress. It may be necessary to take a minute or so to sit quietly and repeat the idea to yourself several times. Closing your eyes will probably help in this form of application.
There is another way of looking at the world. Another way of looking at the world. There is another way of looking at the world. Another way of looking at the world.
And now for the reflection on Lesson 33. This lesson is so simple and direct, telling us that, indeed, there is another way of looking at the world. We've been listening to the voice of our ego for a very long time, which tells us there is really only one way of looking at the world, and that is that it's real, that it can affect us, that it can distress us, that it can attack us. And yet what we're hearing over and over in the Course is that there is another way of looking at the world through the eyes of Christ consciousness, or I am consciousness, to see the world through the eyes of God when all things appear as light, not as shadow. And ultimately, when we do this, we come to the realization of an awakening, that something is waking up inside of us, and we begin to see past this world that seemed so real a moment ago into the real world. This, indeed, is the goal of this entire course, A Course in Miracles, to see the real world, to step into the real world, and to experience fully what is true. But it begins with the realization that there is another way of looking at the world. So here in Lesson 33, we get this important lesson, and we say, yes, there is indeed a different way of seeing everything that I perceive around me.